I'm Agnes Dyab, and I've been active in the deaf community for many years now, and I'm the first ever female chair of the British Deaf Association. But this isn't the first time I've campaigned for change. All my life I've fought hard to improve the quality of life for deaf people and deaf children. This is my life story. I was born in Lewisham in South London back in 1959. Both my parents were born deaf, Tom and Mary Pilkington. I was born deaf too, but I also had German measles, and it wasn't until I was 5 months old that I was finally well enough to come home. My father was originally from Gateshead, up in the northeast of England, descended from generations of deaf people. My mother was Irish, and the only person in her family that was deaf. Between them they had 4 children, me, the oldest, and my 3 brothers, Ronnie, who's hearing, and then Tony and David, who was deaf. Sadly, David, the youngest, died recently in 2016.
Hi.
Do you remember this place?
I don't, no.
You don't remember it?
I was just a baby.
Ah, yes, you would have been, how old would you have been? 3. You know, we used to all live downstairs.
You're right. I remember Mum telling me.
And upstairs lived this lady, remember? She was quite stout. Yes, you're right, she was older. Shall we find a cafe and have a cup of tea?
Yeah, why not?
How's your tea and coffee?
Yeah,
Very good.
Back in our first home, over there. Do you remember that Silver Cross pram? I'd hold on to one side, and you would be sat in the pram facing me, with Tony behind you. But as you say, you were only a baby.
I have some old photos.
You brought photos, oh my word. Oh yes. I remember, you're right. I came along first, then you, and then David. When I was older, I went to a PHU school. Prior to that, Ronnie and I went to a nursery with hearing children. Then aged 11, I went to Boston Spa, and by that time both Mum and Dad were both out working. You must have been wondering, where's our sister gone?
Oh, you went away for 7 years, yeah. So when you came back, it was very different. Yeah.
In what way do you think?
More independent, definitely.
I think you're right. I went to Boston Spa and it was just me, Agnes. Whereas before, I'd always been with you and we'd done everything together. We were like a team.
Yes, we were a team.
I also think that team mentality came from our father, who taught us all to play sport. And he'd say without sport, life would be boring. And thinking about it, he was absolutely right. Because to play sport, you have to follow the rules, you have to work together, and that's what makes you stronger. It was that philosophy that I took with me to Boston Spa, and it was all those experiences combined that made me the person I am, which prepared me for my current role as chair of the BDA, don't you think?
I agree, definitely. It had a powerful and lasting influence. Your upbringing, family, Boston Spa School, all of that has had a bearing on who you've become. The chair of the BDA. It gave you the confidence and the personality you need for that role, yes. And now you're not only our boss, you're the big boss.
In about 1963, we moved from Lewisham to Blackheath. And it was in that house where David was born. I remember my parents telling me I was really upset because, of course, I didn't want another brother. I desperately wanted a sister. The midwife asked us all, what's the baby's name? And I said, David. My mum liked the name, so that's what he was called. At about that time, I was at a school in a PHU. And it was from there I went on to St John's School for the Deaf in Boston Spa. This is my old school. I came here aged 11 and left at 18. Feels so strange to be back here after all this time. This is my friend Jocelyn Taylor. We're both members of the Boston Spa School Reunion Committee. Come on, shall we go and have a look around? Oh look, that's where we used to have to do all the washing up.
That's right.
We'd put the things over there on the table, but it was much lower.
Wasn't it a sink?
A sink?
The one I used was different.
Did you do the washing up?
I was over in one of the other kitchens.
Over there?
We washed up the knives, forks, plates and pudding bowls, and we had this competition to see who could finish first.
Oh, we didn't do anything like that. Let's go have a look in there. I remember the rows of tables in here.
It's very different now.
Yes. In my day, the tables were mixed. Boys and girls. We used to secretly hold one another's hands under the table, didn't you?
Me? Never.
What, never? You're such a prude. The girls' bedrooms were down that way.
That's right.
This is new.
The boys' bedrooms were down there.
Yes, but this wasn't here.
That's true.
We used to see if I could catch a glimpse of the boys through the keyhole. Did you?
We'd do the same. The girls would line up to take a look, but we never saw anything because it was dark. But we still thought we might see something, which was dreadful. And you had to be on the lookout for the nuns in case they caught you, and then you'd be in trouble.
It was a risky business.
Oh, yes.
Back when I was at school at Boston Spa during half-term, I'd regularly head to the northeast to visit family. but now sadly they've all passed away. My father was from Gateshead, and there are a lot of deaf people around about. I'm on my way back for the signature awards. At the same time, I'm meeting with my dear friend, Tessa Padden. Two of us grew up together back down in London. She now lives up there, so I'm going to be catching up with her later. That's where we were last night, at the Baltic over there for the signature awards. Did you have a good night?
Yes, lovely. I met lots of people I know and some new faces too. It was good.
The signature awards are all about BSL.
That's right.
Like you, when I glanced around the room, I could see teachers.
Assessors.
Yes.
All in one place, people chatting, networking, sharing ideas and information, discussing the future. It was all very interesting.
All of that is of benefit to us at the BDA because, as you well know, we're staunch proponents of BSL and we're hoping to maintain that strong connection with Signature. And of course, you and I virtually grew up in the BDA.
Oh, yes.
With our respective families.
True.
Your mother and father and my mother and father and my brothers. We were all part and parcel of the BDA.
Yes.
From there, the two of us both went on to have professional careers. And now we've come full circle. And we're both back at the BDA on the Board of Governors.
And you're the first deaf woman chair. I'm proud to have known you all that time. We grew up together, our families socialised, enjoyed one another's company, being part of that world. Now we're both back at the BDA, with you as the chair, and it's important to show everybody what women can do.
Yes, being positive role models. Both our respective parents would take us to the Deaf Club. Do you remember when we were young, we charged around and got up to all sorts of mischief?
The Deaf Club was just like our home. We grew up there, and that's where we acquired the language, watching the grown-ups signing with one another. That's how the language was handed down to us. But now who are children going to learn it from?
No one. All that's gone. Plus, when I think about us as teenagers, we weren't bothered how old other people were. We didn't just mix with people of our own age. We all got along. We shared everything, and now people stick to their own groups and we've lost all of that. It's gone, and who knows what long-term effect that will have on the deaf community. I think the BDA need to look at that.
You're right. We could do more to encourage people to interact, bring them together more often, to recreate that social mix.
You and I growing up, did it ever occur to you that I'd become chair of the BDA? Did you ever get an inkling of what might happen to us in the future?
It never even crossed my mind, growing up with you, being around your brothers, playing together, your parents being with my parents, then reaching a point where we both became prominent figures. There's quite a few deaf people who remember you growing up and now see you as chair of the BDA.
Come on, let's go and grab a coffee. When I left Boston Spa, I really wanted to be a choreographer. But I was told, you can't, you're deaf. I was so disappointed. I got a job working at a newspaper and I made do with that for a while. Then I enrolled on a training course to become a psychiatric nurse, which is a real slog. But in the end, it didn't feel like there was any real future in it, so I left. After that, I got a job as a social worker with the Royal Association for the Deaf. And from there, my role gradually shifted and I became a counsellor. Altogether, I was with RAD for 12 years. During that time, I did some relay interpreting. And it was in that capacity that I started working in schools and ended working as an instructor at Blanche Neville School down in London, where I fought hard to improve the quality and raise the standard of education for deaf children. Back when I was at Blanche Neville School, I was brought in as a senior deaf education instructor. What I saw going on in the classroom got me thinking about my own schooling. Back in my day, there were no CSWs, but these pupils had support, and your educational standards had slipped. That's why I got involved with the group at the BDA, to see if we could be more proactive and to try and exert some influence and improve the quality of education for deaf children. I'm now on my way to meet Sandra David from Frank Barnes School. The two of us were involved in that working group, looking at how we could bring about changes.
This is my classroom. Come and take a seat.
It's lovely to see you. It's been ages. I remember we first met in 1980 at that debate.
Yes, at that conference.
What was it? Oh gosh, back then we were still pushing for subtitling on TV.
That's right.
And then we started meeting other deaf professionals, all working in deaf education. Then I went to Australia, where I came across this deaf studies curriculum, which was like the one in America. I bought them and then came to Frank Barnes School to show you. You were working here. I was at Blanche Neville. Do you remember?
There were 6 units: deaf identity, deaf culture, deaf history, technology, language and communication, and a 6th entitled social change, but that was only really suitable for secondary pupils.
Yes, that's right. You already had your own bilingual provision at Frank Barnes, and at Blanche Neville we added the bicultural element, so the two things fitted together perfectly. And I do think these two ideas combined have dramatically reduced the number of deaf people experiencing mental health difficulties, because people then started to feel okay about their deafness.
And you've been out to China?
That's right. I went there off the back of the conversations we are having about deaf education. The Chinese had seen what we were doing and wanted to set up something similar. I went out there with a colleague to explain what we were doing, show them our resources, and did some training with deaf people to help professional development. And now that's really taken off, especially in a couple of provinces. I definitely feel like we've really achieved something for deaf children out there, and now I'm back.
And finally in you, we now have our first deaf female chair of the BDA. I'm so thrilled.
Oh, thank you.
And you bring to the role all these amazing skills, bringing together the Deaf Studies team, your leadership and the work you've done out in China, giving presentations, providing support, running workshops and a whole host of other skills which I hope you'll be able to incorporate into your new role.
But the work that we did wouldn't have been possible without you and everyone working as a team. All 4 schools working together, everything grew out of that. Without that, none of this would have happened. As you know, deaf education is dear to my heart. So when we're looking at education at the BDA, will you come and join us?
Definitely.
Really? That's great. Thank you.
It's been lovely to see you.
Everything I do for the BDA is voluntary. So you might be wondering, how do I switch off and relax? I have a number of other interests, and one of these is a love of sport. Today I've got a real treat in store. I'm off to the home of my favourite team, Arsenal Football Club. I've got lots of hobbies, and one of those is supporting Arsenal. I used to play football, and if you don't believe me, come and meet some of my old footballing friends, because that's where I'm heading next. I used to play for Lewisham Deaf Women's Football Club. I'm going to meet 2 of my ex-teammates, Frida Bradshaw and Zita Wilby. Over there is where we used to train, just a walk across the park. We get ourselves ready for matches against teams from all over. I'm meeting Frida and Zita at the local pub.
Hello.
Hi.
Is it cold out there?
Freezing. Hello, how are you?
It's been ages.
It's been a while.
Where has the time gone? It flies by.
I know, right? Do you both remember the Ladywell Centre just round the corner from here?
That's right. Training every Thursday evening from about 6:30 to whenever. And in the summer, wouldn't we be outside?
Out on the grass, just over there.
That's right. And what positions did you both play?
I was in goal.
And what about you?
If someone was injured, I'd take over as goalie, but really, I'd just play anywhere.
I'd either try and get forward or play in midfield. Oh, and the committee.
I was chair.
You were.
And you were on the committee.
And you?
I was the secretary. I thought we worked well together, don't you? We made a good team.
Organising fundraisers.
That's right.
To get money to replace those awful tops.
They were disgusting yellow, and they looked awful. And were all rough on the skin.
Scratchy.
We had to put up with them until we'd raised enough money to buy smart new ones. Hang on.
I remember those.
Ah, fantastic.
When we put these on,
They were so comfortable and so much cooler. And they didn't irritate the skin. Compared to the other teams, when we put them on, we thought we looked the bee's knees.
We did.
You know, looking back, you were club secretary, we had a good team, and now we've all been thinking maybe that had a part to play in preparing you for the role as chair of the BDA.
after I left school, I do think I started developing a range of different skills like fundraising, teamwork, planning, the logistics of getting to and from matches, meeting people, networking.
Lobbying.
Yes, lobbying. I mean, we did get lots of support from the WFA, the Women's Football Association, but we had to lobby the BDSC because they didn't understand that the rules for women's football were different from the men's. So yes, it was about developing all of those skills, and I have to say a big thank you to you both for your help along the way. My story is almost at an end. I was appointed by the BDA as the first female chair. I'm here to meet Murray Holmes, who is the Vice President of the BDA and was one of the panel who interviewed me for the position, and I'm curious to know why they offered it to me.
Hello, congratulations! You're now chair of the BDA. Brilliant!
Thank you. Why did you appoint me as chair of the BDA?
Remember, I didn't appoint you. I was one of the 4 members of the vetting panel, whose role was to make sure that, as an applicant, you met the BDA's criteria in terms of your experience, your background, knowledge, financial acumen, your involvement in other national charities, and all your achievements to date. You met every requirement, which was marvellous. And out of all the applicants, you came out on top, which is why you were recommended to the board.
Well, thank you. I thought I'd share with you my thoughts about the priorities for my term of office. As you know, the BDA, or BDDA, as it was when it was first established, was set up in response to the ban on the use of sign language and the terrible chaos that ensued in deaf education. And it seems to me we moved away from the original purpose. I want to steer us back to that focus of deaf education, BSL, and most important of all, getting members back.
Now that is important.
Over time, we've become a little bit disconnected from our members. And as you well know, historically, the organisation has been led by white men. And now finally, the BDA has its first female chair. Hopefully, that will broaden the appeal of the organisation and attract a more diverse membership. The BDA has always lobbied for improvements in deaf education, and so that along with an equal emphasis on the profile of BSL and a desire to increase and widen our appeal, are my priorities. Is that about right, do you think?
Every one of those 4 objectives you've just outlined is important. I have every confidence you'll be a success.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's me done, I think. In amongst all this, I recognise the importance of family. I have a son, Zooey, and now, very recently, a granddaughter, Poppy. The BDA is also like a deaf family. We need to support one another and work together if we're to improve. Share things with one another. And there's so much to be done if we're to progress. As you've seen, my absolute passion is deaf education, and in that respect, our journey is far from over.